everybody, and welcome to the Talks A Lot Boys. I, as always, am your host. My name is Tyler, and today I am joined by a boy. It's Kyle.
Yo! It feels weird not to be... Like, I am always the last one, and technically I'm still the last one, but there was no middle. There was nothing...
Yes, I know. On a weird turn of events, Brennan was not able to record today, but due to other scheduling conflicts and our attempt to just grab onto the tail end of the algorithm, we had to record today. So unfortunately, we have to record without Brennan. Very weird. We're hoping that the voting process for ranking these songs will not just be dead stalemates the whole time.
Yeah.
But we're going to find out. Yeah, if you clicked on this video, then you already know what album we're talking about today. It is F.E.A.R. by Stand Atlantic, one of our most anticipated albums of the year so far. As you know, I put the Stand in Stand Atlantic. I am one of their biggest Americano fans, and I have been... You like that?
I love that.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was saying now. I got distracted. Yeah, so I've been so hyped for this album. I've been looking forward to it for so long. I've been saying with every subsequent single release, I'm like, this very well might be the best Stand Atlantic album that has come out so far. Might even top Pink Elephant. And I am happy to report that as far as I'm concerned, I think that it is the best Stand Atlantic album so far. I have been very much enjoying it. I've listened to it about 1 million times over the past weekend since it came out. And boy gosh darn it, it is such a good album. Like, I am legitimately impressed with how they managed to craft this record. Where, you know, Pink Elephant, it was kind of like experimental, a little bit all over the place, you know, and we gave it props for that. Alternatively, this album, they sort of just found this new, unique sound where it's like, we're going to blend pop punk with trap. And they somehow blend it together in a way that it just works. And it never gets samey. Like, every single song is unique and it's fresh, but it's still around that centralized core of those two genres blended together. And it's just such a perfect sound, dude, for them. And I dig it. I love it, man. Kyle, so I know you've been singing this album's praises for the last few days as well.
Dude, I like as people who are like longtime viewers of the show know, I often will listen to an album once, twice, maybe 3 times before we get around to reviewing it. Let it simmer a little bit. Listen to this fucking album a lot of times. A lot of listens on this one because I agree with you, Tyler. I think this is probably the best album they've released so far. I think this, like you spoke of, the trap pop punk blend. I like to call it punk trap because it sounds fun to say. We love a good trunk. I love this like style they've created. If there is like any other bands that are doing something anywhere close to this, please let us know in the comments below because I'm not aware of them. But I think this is a very cool blend. I think it's very cool. And I while I really enjoyed that experimental style of Pink Elephant that like made it stand out so much to us, I do think like there are like little bits of that in here, but it's all like kind of like a garnish over the top of that the trunk sounds, if you will. I hope that sticks. And because like before, like those experimental things were like full songs in Pink Elephant, and so like it was just like a fucking like a splatter painting of musical genres. And now it's just like they know what they're doing and they're just like sprinkling a little different little vibes. There's a moment where it's like a bit toony ska thing that happens at one little brief moment in one of the songs. I couldn't figure out what exactly to describe it as, and I came down to bit tune ska, and we'll get there eventually.
I am genuinely interested to know which part of which song you're talking about because I genuinely don't know based on that description.
It's like the smallest little chunk of the end of a verse in one song where they just like really swap it up, and I'm like, that's so interesting. Why did you do that? It works. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is such a fucking cool album. I'm very excited to break this shit down, talk about all these songs because they're so tasty, dude.
Hell yes, dude. We're not gonna waste any more time. We're gonna jump right into it, as we do on this show, as you know, and if you're new, as you've read with the title of this video, we're gonna rank every single song on this beautiful, immaculate record from worst to first. It's going to be a tall task, but I think we can handle it. be an even taller task considering we don't have a tiebreaker. But that also means we won't run into the infamous pink elephant debacle of whatever year that came out. That was the most heated three-way argument we have ever had in the history of the show. Woo. And it can't happen today unless we just have an extra heated two-man argument, which is possible.
Who knows?
We'll see if Stand Atlantic tears us apart once again. But I'm going to list off all the songs in the order they appear, and then we are going to just start ripping into shit, ordering it from the bottom of the top. So, here we go. Track number 1 is Doomsday. Track number 2 is Pity Party. Track number 3, Van Gogh, or Van Gogh, as I like to say it phonetically.
No one says that.
Track 4 is Dumb, like me. Track 5, Hair Out. Track 6, Death Wish. Track 7, Switchblade. Track 8, Nails from the Back. Track 9, Blood Clot. Track 10, Don't Talk, parenthesis, to me, parenthesis. Track 11, is that the right number?
Yes.
I fucked myself over by making that stupid thing. Track 11 is XO. Track 12 is Cabin Fever. Track 13 is Molotov. Track 14 is not a real track, but it is called I Wonder What Kind of Garlic Bread They Eat in Mensa, and I'm genuinely interested in the story behind that song title. Also, we're just going to immediately lock that in at the bottom. It's going to stay right there.
It's going to be number 14.
It's not a song. It's
on
just
the
Bonnie
album.
laughing.
Yeah, it's pretty much it. It's them giggling, having a good time. I appreciate it because it appears throughout the album at times, like that kind of fun, just like random speaking bits. 'Cause I think Hair Out is the one that I think of most predominantly, where they do it a lot. But I don't know. It's fun. I like it. It's a neat way to end the album. It does bring up an interesting question, though. Not maybe a question, just a fact I'd like to point out. Molotov is of the actual songs, Molotov is the album ender, and I actually think it's kind of an odd choice to me. I kind of wish Cabin Fever was the last song on the album. It feels like it has a lot more bits of the album all brought into one thing. Molotov's kind of just very aggressive, has things going on obviously, but I don't know. It's just a kind of food
I
for
like
thought
Molotov
thing.
being the ender. I think it works. It's
just punch you to the end.
It's way more aggressive than everything else, and the way the song ends with everything kind of just crashing into distortion. I think that's a good way to end it.
Kind of fits the vibe. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. Now, how do we feel about Molotov? Because I don't actually want it to be the bottom.
Interesting.
I know leading up to this, we had kind of said, of the singles released so far, Molotov is the weakest, but only because, just as a song, I'm not going to go out of my way to listen to it unless I'm in very specific scenarios. But as a person who has seen them play it live, this song was written for the purpose of being played at shows. And it's in 100%. That environment, it is so good. It is just moshy goodness. It's fantastic. So I think on that merit alone, I would feel bad putting it at the bottom because it does what it is meant to do very well. Yeah. It's just in an album experience, it feels a little out there compared to the rest of the album. So I don't necessarily want it to be the bottom. I know you were probably still pushing for that.
I mean, I can totally, and when I listened to it after you had seen them live and you told me that Molotov was really fucking dope, I re-listened to it. I kind of was what would it be like if I was at a Stand Atlantic concert? And I was just trying to imagine it. I was yeah, I could see that being just absolutely fucking brutal. And I love that. I think that's really cool. I also think that slowdown near the end is a really nice little touch onto it, even though it is kind of, I'd say one of the most repetitive tracks on the album.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
It is for a reason, and the reason is good. So yes. I kind of give it a pass on that. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely think it's a lower song, but I'm not opposed to not putting it at the bottom. So
cool.
Do you have something you'd rather throw in the bottom of the pile?
The thing is, I don't specifically know. I know there are a few tracks on this album that I think are objectively not as good as other tracks. I'm not going to say any songs on this album are bad because that would be a lie. I think every single song on this album offers something. I think they're all very well done. But there are a few tracks that just did not stand out to me as much as other tracks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna throw out, and you can, if I'm way off base, feel free to roast to your heart's content.
This is where it begins, the hatred or the love. We'll see.
So I have 3, and ironically, they're like right in a row.
Okay.
Blood Clot, Don't Talk to Me, and XO, I think belong in the bottom half of the list.
I strongly agree with 2 of those, and pretty decently disagree with the first of those 3 in my mind.
Yeah, I know you like Blood Clot. I know we've talked about that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as like there's nothing inherently wrong about those first 2 tracks, especially. It's just that like comparative to a lot of the other tracks, and there are a lot of like really banging tracks on this album, like a lot of like just peak of their career tracks as of this moment, right? And I feel like some of these tracks in particular didn't do anything in particular to really push the envelope, stand out amongst the crowd. I really don't have any notes on Don't Talk to Me, just because there weren't any standout moments for me. It was a good track, it was a solid track, but there was no part that like wowed me, no part that really blew my socks off in any kind of way. XO, I did actually have kind of a gripe with.
Interesting.
I like that it's kind of a different vibe, that it leans into the trap a little bit more than some other songs, right? The chorus just really doesn't hook me, though. And I don't know if that's a subjective thing, but like it's not bad, but it just really was not doing it for me.
I feel like because I see what you're saying, and like I myself found myself in a similar place, and I think really why the more I thought about it, it doesn't catch me as much is because like a lot of the choruses on this album are like catchy as fuck and really good on top of that. Like some of them like I literally cannot get out of my head, like multiple very good ones. Whereas this one is not like a bad chorus. It sounds good. I think it's like pretty powerful as the whole song is in my mind. It's just the chorus is just kind of like, it almost feels like just an extension of the verses, that really like big chuggy trap bit that starts her off like the whoa, like thing that happens. It's kind of just like really like stretched. It feels like a lot of that song, and not necessarily in a bad way, because like the trap stuff is cool. Yeah. But it definitely feels like the trap stuff kind of like envelops the song a bit, and in an album where I think they do a really good job blending a lot, it does also stick out to me a good bit, that song in particular.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I mean, I kind of want to push for that to be the bottom.
It's definitely the one I have the least notes on, just because I was like, cool song, chuggy trap stuff feels kind of cool, but like nothing like really pops to me. The harmonies at points in the song are really cool, like vocally. Yeah. And I think some of the distortion and like that breakdown bit kind of it hits kind of cool, but those exact things happen in such higher degrees in so many other songs that like it's like kind of like a non-factor to me. Like just
like I think this might be like one of the only songs I'm not really going to come back to a lot if I'm like actively looking for like individual songs to listen to and not just listening to the album as a whole. Fair. So yeah, I think we should lock that in at the bottom. I think
I'm here for it.
I think we're pretty on board. Well, second from the bottom, because the non-track is the bottom, technically. And now, I guess, sell me on Blood Clot to get it out of this conversation, because I like it, but I don't think I like it as much as you, obviously.
So I'm gonna go for like your side of the argument immediately, because I see why you think it should be lower. I think it's definitely a bit like tamer, more, I don't want to say pink elephant-y, where like it kind of lands more in that pop punk. There's not a lot of like experimentation going on in it. It really feels like a song that is like really in their vein. It does some really cool stuff. It does the thing that I praise it for a lot is that it knows this something that I think the whole album does really well, but this song in particular, they know the less is more idea really is a strong thing, especially with Bonnie, where like they'll just drop out at moments and let certain instruments or Bonnie soar. They have that in so much of this track that it just hits like so hard. I also think that this track, in particular the verses, it helps you remember how smooth Bonnie's voice can be. A lot of this is very aggressive, Bonnie singing like higher registers with moments of being lower. Whereas like I think almost all of the verses in this track, if I'm at least the first verse, is her singing quite low, very smooth, and I think that's a nice change up from the rest of the album. I also think that like the way this song builds overall is very cool to me. Like the first verse is a bit slower of a vibe, and then the second verse and immediately like adds a little bit more instrumental. It gives you that full like roller coaster effect, like the really building up kind of vibe that we always praise on the show. I also think that the line "fighting tooth and denial" specifically is a very cool lyric. It's not really a big factor in anything. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, I like that. But
that is clever. I'll leave it that, if nothing else.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of really clever lyrics in this entire album, and I really, I found myself chuckling at a lot of lyrics more so than I do in a lot of other stuff, except for maybe DGD. But like, I mean, the most recent DGD single literally just has John go, "I'm coming everywhere" in the middle of the fucking.
We don't get quite that level with State Atlantic, but State Atlantic, that's like one of the things I've always liked about them. Just like out the gate, I'm a very long time fan. Like I've been listening since fucking Coffee at Midnight. So like they have just such a good way of building songs around like really weird and grotesque metaphors, and it is one of their strong suits, and I really dig it. And this is definitely an example of that happening in a very well executed way.
100%. So, I agree. And I think that like, you know, while it doesn't like really try a ton of shit, it really does kind of show off what you're saying. Is like they are kind of like basing it around like a very simple like instrumental thing. They add little flares here and there. They have a really good build. I think the bridge is like a pretty like standard bridge, especially compared to some other songs on this album. Yep. But like they still do it extremely well. It still feels really good. I think the chorus is really fucking catchy. I think the lyrical choice in this song is really fucking fun. I think it's a banger. I mean, I definitely, though, like, back to my first point, can see why you think it's, like, down here. I think other songs, like, try a lot and absolutely fucking knock it out of the park. Whereas this song, some people I could see saying objectively it's safer for them. But on an album where they don't do a lot of safe shit, it's a little breath of fresh air to me. So,
I can respect that, yeah. What do you feel about Don't Talk to Me? Because that was the other one I kind of had in this conversation.
This is actually the song where I think it's the second verse, the very end of the second verse, the bit tune ska or whatever the hell I called it.
It's this one. Okay.
It's that little bit right at the end of the second verse. It just changes up, and I was like, "What is happening?" I like this. It's very little and very fun. I'm just like, "Why did you do this?" I don't know, but it's cool. And also, you mentioned before, nothing stands out to you in this track. Sir, there's a vibra slap in this song, and immediately I respect it more.
Well, yeah, you're always about the vibra slap. Well, that's like, for me, you know, you hit a vibra slap, and I'm like, it's cool, but I wouldn't say it's a standout moment just because you went like, brah, and then that's not what a vibra slap sounds like.
Each
I can't replicate that.
I really want somebody to like just take that sound and just like every time a vibra slap, is it just like that's the wah. But anyways, the vibra slap is cool. It's more of a bit, but I like that they added in. The biggest thing that this song does for me, though, like realistically, is I think the drums are really impressive on this track.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I mean, like they're good everywhere on this album, but I think there are some really awesome moments where like the drums will like do this really fucking cool like fill that like transfers into the next verse or something, or it like if there's like a big shift in like tempo at moments in this song, the drums seem to be like the very prevalent force, which I think is really fucking cool. Other than that, though, I think to me this chorus doesn't stand out as catchy as some other choruses to me. Not as not catchy as like EXO, like we were saying, but it definitely like it just isn't one that sticks in my head as much as some of the other ones. I don't know. It's just like it's fun. It's upbeat. It has some cool little things like the vibra slap and the cool drums and the bit tune ska. But I don't know. This song just it's a good song. Like it's fun.
It's good, but there's no like wow factor to it. And like because like I want to put this under Molotov just because at least Molotov like I feel like has a more unique identity.
Yeah,
comparatively. So like. Kind of what I'm thinking. The only other song that I would say like for sure belongs in the bottom half of this list. Once again, Gonna reiterate, not a bad song.
Yeah.
But we got to make the tough calls here. Dumb did not really do a ton for me.
Yeah.
The vocal feature was fine. The song itself was fine. But again, like, so many of these songs on the album, like basically any other song that we have not mentioned yet, there's just like really amazing bits that stand out, and this was one that I was like, it was good, but I couldn't pull like one specific piece out of it to be like, oh wow, that was like really cool. So I don't know. What did you think about that track?
I don't know. I enjoyed Dumb a good bit. I think where this song falters the most for me is in the feature, where like I think most of the other features on this album fucking bang. Like they're just so like, it not only like is another person singing in St. Atlantic, but like you could feel their influence even like in like the struggle, because like, you know what it made me think of actually in some of these features is actually the way that Bill Murray features people, where like their kind of style fuses in with him, and like they kind of have their own moment and then they come together. I feel that from the other two features on this album, and here I don't. Like, it just kind of feels like he's singing a track of the song, and it's not bad, but like on top of that, he also doesn't really add a lot vocally when they sing together. Like, they just kind of sing the same part. Mm-hmm. And while that, you might get like that feeling of like the chorus is singing together because like they're singing together and they're layered and stuff, but like, I don't know. I wasn't very impressed. I think some of the instrumentals in this track are what make it stand out to me a lot. I think like that plucky instrumental that's like kind of prevalent throughout the whole thing is really cool. Like, even in the chorus, there's like, I don't even know if it's like actually like a keyboard, but there's like a little like bling, bling, and I'm just like, that's really cool. It just kind of like cuts through the top of like the choruses.
Yeah,
and it's cool. I don't know. There's some cool echoey vocal bits that like I think are used really well, but overall, I mean, it feels like a good St. Atlantic song with a feature. Not like this St. Atlantic song slaps and this feature changes them, and it's like this cool kind of like bringing together of styles like the other two are. Like it doesn't reach that
especially with Death Wish, you know, that single I think is like as a core part of that song. Like it flows into it and like out of it seamlessly, you know. And I can kind of see what you're saying with this one. Maybe that's why I didn't really care for the feature on Dumb, because it does feel like a bit disjointed comparatively to the other ones. So I don't know. Are there any other tracks that you would say are like in the running for these bottom spots?
Not really. I feel like that kind of covers it all. I will say the only other song that I'm kind of unsure of, I guess you could say, is Doomsday a bit. Like, I think it's a good song. I just don't know where I feel it lands.
Higher,
in like
much
the
higher,
higher. Okay,
much higher. Right. I really like Doomsday.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm down. And maybe it's because it's the opener that every time I listen to the album, I hit it, and then like I'm like looking for that next thing that I'm not really like fully locked in on it. So I'm curious.
Doomsday, I think like part of its success is because it's the album opener. Because like it really, not to like dive into this way too early, but like we're gonna have to talk about it eventually. Yeah. But like, it is the perfect blend of like all the things that you were going to experience on the album. Like, it is the perfect like a vertical slice preview of like what is to come, and it's just a really awesome song. And fucking Bonnie spits bars at that one part.
She does.
Like, are you kidding
me?
Like, this cannot be in the conversation yet.
Yeah, all right, I'm down. Yeah, I didn't have like a place where I had that one locked in my head, so I kind of wanted to see where you're at. But we'll just go ahead and just shove it over here for a little bit. We'll leave it over there.
Put it over there for a minute.
Other than that, I mean, I feel pretty strongly about all the other ones left too. So I feel like we can probably just dwell in this land of tunes that we've created.
Yeah. So I guess the options in question right now are Dumb, Don't Talk to Me, and Molotov being the next three. I think is where we're kind of at.
Mm-hmm.
And I want Molotov to be the top of those three personally.
Like, originally I wasn't very high on it, but like I feel like since you told me about like how like, oh, it's such a cool like big experience, and the more I think about it, like how it's the album opener in the way that it kind of just like a big like final like the drive to the end of this album, I guess, to me. It is like that, like, let's fucking throw it into turbo just to like push to the very end. We're just gonna absolutely fucking pound you with this tasty tune. I could be down for it to be the top of them. I would say personally, probably Don't Talk to Me, in my mind, lands at the bottom of these three for me. And it's not, none of these are bad at all. I think these songs all are very good. Like, I say this sometimes, and I really mean it this time, and I'll say that again in another episode, but most of these songs, if not all of them, except for Garlic Bread, will I most likely let rock if it shows up at some point in my shuffle. Like,
100%.
Literally,
yes, yeah.
all of these songs are so... Like, even Molotov, a song that I said is like, I don't know, it's kind of repetitive. The moment it comes on while I'm driving, I know I'm going to be like, fuck yeah, baby, just... Oh, and I'm just gonna fucking, I'm gonna absolutely floor it at 3 a.m. on my way to work, you know? It's like, whoa, yeah. Like, so.
Hope there's no one else on the road because my car will be crushing like a fucking pop can into their bumper. I drive a very tiny car. I was gonna say I was gonna plow through their car. That's not pop. I basically drive a riding mower. Like, that's, my car is tiny.
Slight side note, but we were all, you, me, and Nico were riding the other day, and we all started like kind of moving to a song, and Tyler just goes, the car is moving, because we were all just like, the momentum was moving, it was like moving the car, and I stopped for a second, I was like, oh my god, your car just feels like it's fucking like just gyrating to our movements. So
it'll do that.
Your car gonna float away?
So,
like, what's gonna...
It's a small boy.
It's a small boy. That's okay. Small boys are okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we're gonna put Don't Talk to Me as number 12,
probably,
and then Dumb as 11, Molotov as 10.
Yeah, I'm down with putting Blood Clot at 9 if that's where you're vibing with it.
Yeah, I don't think I could put it. I don't think I could put it any higher based on what is left. The only thing that maybe Blood Clot could beat out is like maybe Nails from the Back, maybe. Because I think like we're fastly approaching that one.
Yeah, I think that we are in the like all these songs can be talked about in the upper half of this we have left the I don't know, I don't really like this about the song or this about this song. We're in a point now where like every single track to me, it's just good. It's gonna get subjective to me a lot more. I think because I really like Nails from the Back. I think it's a very cool song. Even though I was like the proponent of Blood Clot, the point that I made against it that like was like the devil's advocate bit of me where it's like it doesn't really, it's pretty safe. I think Nails from the Back adds some more to that, like that this trap punk trunk, whatever the fuck we're calling it, style that I really like. So I would push for Blood Clot to be next, even though I do love it a good bit.
Yeah, because I would want Nails from the Back to be above it. If for nothing else than the part around like a minute 15 in where Bonnie just like starts going off, and I'm like, it impresses me a lot how she does that on like multiple tracks on this album. Like, it's not anything I would ever, it's not like rapping, but it's like rap adjacent. Or maybe it's rapping. I don't know. I'm not that cultured.
I don't know.
But it's impressive regardless. Like, she manages to do that so well, and it shocks me. So, like, you are not a person I would ever envision who would be able to pull that off, but she does it so well, and it's impressive.
I definitely think like this is another song where like the like cutting out and like just letting things shine, like that less is more mentality thing.
Yeah,
I think do a really good job with, especially like in the verses. There are times where like it just cuts out and she like trails off in the phrase, and it happens even in that like kind of fast breakdown part. Even though it's not like singing that it cuts out, she's like, damn, what? And I'm just like, all right, cool. And it's cool. I like it. I think it's a cool stylistic choice.
Yeah. The
also
ending
in general,
of that song
I think
too, where it kind of like it like slows down at the end to kind of like take you out and things kind of like pull back. Like, just such a great way of like deconstructing that song for the ending.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Dude, I'm listening to it right now, and I think that the second that like fast singing rapping thing, where like that even like the end of that, like she kind of just fucking soars with the vocals into that next chorus too. And in general, I think the chorus here, like her vocals really do like just absolutely fucking take off at moments. This does kind of feel like a good point to bring up something that I really love about like a lot of the songs, if not all the songs on this album, is that I really like that mainly I saw it a lot in Bonnie, but it also happens in the instrumentals, where just like randomly she'll just throw in like a little like fucking trill or a little run in a fucking part of her voice, and it just enhances every song. It's just a little fucking extra little thing on top, where just like in that right, like the not the final chorus of the song, but like the next to final, right, where it connects through, is she like does like the little run to connect the two choruses, and it's so good. And I'm just like, things like that just heighten the experience so much for me, all over the place in this album. It you think the song's over and you think you caught all the best parts, and then she's like, let me fucking show off for a second. And you're just like, whoa, I saw. Yes, it just gives you a little warm feeling in my tummy, and I love it. I love it so much.
It is crazy how, like, with each album this band puts out, like, the band in general, is constantly, like, improving and becoming, like, they're trying new things, becoming more technical. But Bonnie especially, like, she has just progressed so far with each album, and like it is just so mad impressive. Like some of the shit that she's doing on this album, it's crazy, man. Like it's really, so good.
Like it's crazy too, like when you think about like some of the stuff we're talking about right now with her vocals. And I remember like when you first showed them to me, and I thought like, this is cool, Bonnie's good. And like the fact that like I thought that at one point, just being like, Bonnie's a really cool, good singer, and like to watch that and like looking back on like how I felt about this band, how it has just evolved, and like hearing where she's at now, you feel like there's been a journey with this band. If not because of the genre bending shit, but just because like you can feel like that confidence and the like development of like all of her talents. It's such a cool journey to be just in the background of like, good job, I like this. Like,
for sure.
It's awesome.
So here's a big question.
Yeah.
Can Nails from the Back beat any of the remaining songs that we have left? Which, just to reiterate what we have left, we have Doomsday, we have Pity Party, we have Van Gogh, we have Hair Out, Death Wish, Jesus, Switchblade, and Cabin Fever. I'm going to go with a big ol' heckin' no. I don't think that it can, as much as I like the song. Like, everything we have left is just such a heavy hitter. I don't even know where to go from here. Like, we are left with just perfection and nothing else. Like, I genuinely don't know where to go from here.
You know, there was a song I immediately jumped to look at my notes and stuff when you asked me if there was anything better. And I immediately looked at it and I was like, I don't think it can be better. So it probably doesn't beat it. But I will say that song was Pity Party. And it kind of makes me realize that perhaps the feature songs are coming up to me when I think about like the grand scheme of this album.
Now that you say that, I am very much starting to warm up to that mindset, because I think you might be right. As much as I like both of those songs, looking back through here, I kind of have a lot less notes on both of those songs.
I mean, yeah, and it could be like a fatigue thing, because we've been listening to the songs for quite a while as well. But like when I think about the songs, like they are incredibly strong. I appreciate them a lot for what they do. But I do think that like so many of these other tracks that are just in Atlantic songs, like not like that blending of styles that like the features bring, just absolutely fucking pound. There are just like things that I'm just ready to fucking scream from the rooftops about on all these other tracks. And then these two singles, I feel like I said the coolest parts about them, and it's that blending of styles. And then there's like maybe a couple other things, but like that, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of it for me. I think they're really good, so.
Controversial opinion, hot take that might, if anybody comments on this, might not go over well. I'm gonna say I think Death Wish should be next. I'm gonna preface this by saying This made it into my top 5 singles of last year, so you can't hate me that much because I've already given this song a lot of love and praise, and I still jam to it all the time, and I still love it, and I still think it's an amazing track. A big thing, and we've already talked about this a little bit, we mentioned this at the very beginning, that a lot of the tracks on this album have such stupid catchy choruses, right? Like, just insanely catchy choruses amongst all of the technical amazement that they're wrapped in, right? Of the songs we have left, Death Wish has the weakest chorus, in my opinion.
That is a hot take.
It's not a bad chorus by any stretch. It's a very good chorus, but compared to what we have left, it does not rip nearly as hard as any of the rest of those songs. And the rap feature's cool, and Death Wish is really like the first single they released that was just that blend of like the trap and pop punk styles. So, and maybe it is just because I'm kind of burnt out on it because I've been jamming it for like a year and a half at this point, but like I think that's next, personally. And I'm gonna let you simmer on that thought, and I'm gonna cut away right now because I have to go blow my little old schnoz, and we're gonna be back right now.
Oh wow, dude, that was crazy.
I know.
I fell asleep and I entered another universe. It was crazy. But weird.
It took me 10 hours to blow my nose. There was so much boog in my face. It's a different day now when we're recording this.
I grew like the smallest bit of hair off of my face longer. Not enough to tell, but like that's how much time has passed that my hair did in fact grow, just factually. Wow.
This is a really good bit. We should probably get back to talking about the song.
Yeah.
So Death Wish, right?
Yes.
I want to do it a disservice. So are you gonna allow that to happen?
You know what? I've been simmering on it the whole day that you've been gone, and I think that the thing that will push me into your camp with this, as much as it pains me, is actually the verses of these songs. And it's not that either are bad. It's that I think the verses of Death Wish have a little less going on. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because in Death Wish, that like it's immediately contrasted with like this really awesome chorus. It's very like, ooh, think I gotta fucking it's really good, and I like it. But like in Pity Party, the verses feel like they like are constantly building up to a thing. You know, they feel like they're really like growing. There's like some really awesome vocal stuff going on in Pity Party, even in the verses. Whereas I'm not as like wildly moved by the vocal work in the verses of Death Wish. Not that they're bad. None of this is bad. But it feels like a big flowing thing in Pity Party. And a big thing to me is that those fucking harmonies with the feature Royal and the Serpent or whatever are so good in Pity Party. It is fucking crazy. I love that vocal work with the two of them back and forth. It's I love it so much.
Honestly, like Pity Party compared to Death Wish, like I feel like Pity Party really does a good job of knowing like when to pull back and like when to give you more at like 100%. The right times. Like it does such a good job of that throughout, and like you were saying, like kind of just builds into this whole flowing experience of musical shit. And I just don't get that with Death Wish. I feel like Pity Party is just like a little bit better of a song, and it has a catchier chorus in my opinion.
It kind of maybe, but I think that the other thing that I think is really cool with Pity Party, just like nerdy moment, is that the choruses are structured in a really interesting way, where like the first half of it is like kind of them like singing really aggressively, and it's just like and then there's like a little bit of break.
Is it just like that? Yeah,
literally like right next side by side that shit. It's delicious. I just and then it just like leaves it open, and then it like and then it leaves it open, and then it goes into like a normal chorus.
Yeah,
like the whole chorus is like structured in a very unique way compared to like most other things. And it's really cool because like it also leaves room for like these awesome vocal moments, and then also still giving you like the traditional chorus experience as well. So I don't know, it's cool. It's really neat. I like the experimentation. So yeah, let's fucking lock those bad boys in. Pa.
We're locking those in. All right.
I mean,
I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna say that anything else. Like, it's so nail bitingly close for all of these that like. Yeah, I'm not gonna make an argument to put Pity Party above anything else. Yeah. We're gonna lock those in. I'm gonna recap real quick just because I feel like we have to be at least at the halfway point now, maybe a little past it. 14 is Garlic Bread. So fun to say. 13 is EXO. 12 Don't Talk to Me. 11 Dumb. 10 Molotov. 9 Blood Clot. 8 Nails from the Back. 7 Death Wish. 6 Pity Party.
We're in the top 5, baby.
Ooh, we are. That seems weird.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, I didn't miscount. That is, yeah, we are in the top 5. What the fuck? We have Doomsday, Van Gogh, Hair Out, Switchblade, Cabin Fever left.
Woo!
How do we feel about... Well, here's the thing. I would normally say in this situation, like, let's do some tabling. But there's only 2 of us, so I don't really know if that would work. I mean, it kind of would.
Because it would leave us with 1, technically.
Well, if we did, like, multiple rounds, yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, if we each got to table 1, me, you, and we'd have 1 left.
I mean, it seems like a cheap way of doing it, but also it seems like the most time-efficient way of doing this.
I mean, yeah.
I'll allow it. Kyle, table something.
I'm gonna do... I love all of these songs.
I know, right?
Fuck it. I'll stick to my guns. I'm gonna table Switchblade.
Dope. I am instantly, without any hesitation, tabling Hair Out.
Interesting. Okay. I'll tell you what's gonna happen here. I know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna table Cabin Fever. You're gonna table Doomsday. And then we're going to be left with Van Gogh.
You know, I think that might be what happens.
I feel like that's going to happen.
I think you're right.
As much as that hurts me.
Van Gogh is so good, though. I don't know.
I know. I fucking love Van Gogh so much. He was so great at his craft.
He did that. He cut off his ear and he made the stipple things.
Yeah.
What a guy.
That's the whole song is around the fact that she wants to cut off her ears. It's the whole bit of the song.
And stipple. I don't know. I feel like Van Gogh and Doomsday should probably be the next 2.
I'm okay with that.
Because I think that Switchblade, Hair Out, and Cabin Fever are so good.
Yes.
And I know it's probably, honestly, I guess it works out that Brendan's not here because he would have tried to put Switchblade at the bottom probably because he was not impressed by that song when it came out for some reason. To this day, we still don't understand why.
I'm pretty sure he said he thought Pity Party was the best of the singles, if I remember correctly. I think
he just said that he didn't say that he thought Pity Party was the best. He just said that he thought Switchblade was not as good as Pity Party or Death Wish. I just remember him saying that. I don't know. He's not here to defend himself, unfortunately. Ask him though, I guess.
Yeah,
I'll ask him.
Hit us up on the socials.
Know what he tells me, so like you will still have to. I don't know, Brennan. Please comment below what you would have done differently.
Reach out to the masses. Tell them your order in the comments.
But yeah, Doomsday and Van Gogh are both very good. I don't know which one's better. I don't even want to table either of these.
Because technically these would be your 2 options to table.
Yes,
with the way it goes. So
I feel like we should we have not talked about Van Gogh at all yet. So I think
we've really only talked about Doomsday slightly as well.
We did. So we slightly dove into Doomsday. We have said nothing about Van Gogh. Technically haven't said anything about those other ones that we tabled either, but we will. There's a lot to say about those ones.
Yeah, me too. It's fine.
I don't know, man. My first bullet point for Van Gogh is catchy. But that's also my first bullet point for all tracks on this album.
You know what Van Gogh does for me? And it's just like a broad, like maybe subjective thing to me. But it really does feel like an awesome blend of like the stuff that really fucking hit from Pink Elephant and this new style. Like it's like just a heightened maybe version of like the most recent Stand Atlantic stuff we got. Like you can feel that influence, but it's not like it's like an EXO level of just like what and I'm just like, oh god, the trap, you know, but it's I feel it. I enjoy it. It's really fucking good. I also think it's another song where the lyrics are very smart and really cool. Mm-hmm. The chorus is really catchy. I
The
want to say it's one of the catchiest.
Is very solid.
It's very, very good. Yes. Dude.
This is tough, man. This is tough.
I don't know. I think the plucky guitar thing right off the bat, like if we want to talk about like just cool things in Van Gogh in general, I think like the really plucky guitar thing is cool, and it kind of adds to the fact that like this album, you could maybe look at it in the fact that like it doesn't really genre bend like their last album as much, and be like, oh, it's gonna be samey, but like stuff like this where like the song starts with like that plucky energy and like the drums are kind of just exposed around her singing a little bit lower, like that combination of things really hasn't been done yet. Maybe like a close variation of it, but like because some bands will like start every single song super the same. I immediately think back to like to that Wage War album, where like it just felt like everything started the exact same. Not to shit on them again, but like
no, it's a good example.
Compare it to other bands.
The song structure of that album in general, every single song was like to a T. Like at 3 minutes in, there will be a breakdown. Every single song is going to start exactly the same. Like you don't get that here at all.
I think that like it's just stuff like that I really appreciate, and like a lot of, I won't say a lot of bands, but like some other bands just won't like take the time to like really like not only change it up like that, but also just like have these really incredible parts. Like there's usually like the drums are going absolutely fucking ham, like guitar is just doing a really crazy riff in the verses and stuff, and like they even like evolve as the song goes on. The second verse you have even more going on in that, where like maybe there's like an echoey vocal added into it, like, and not only is there an echoey vocal, but both vocals that are happening are just fucking soaring around each other, and it's just like, ooh, it's just all so good. It's not like just a garnish, it's like two strong components of a beautiful vocal part. I don't know, man. I love this song. It's so hard to say that it's here, but I think when I look at the other songs, it's
I think Van Gogh is here, because comparing it, going back and forth on Doomsday, like I feel like as good as Van Gogh is, I feel like Doomsday, like I said before with Doomsday, right? Like it's the absolute perfect start to the album. It is a perfect blend of the influences they're pulling from with this new like sound they're creating. It just like fucking Pity Party, I think it has like a really, really good finger on the pulse of like when to give you more, when to pull back a little bit. The way the drum beat switches up for verse 2 just to keep the variety going. It's like it's kind of a little thing, but it works and it's very good. It was noteworthy enough for me to take a note of it, right? And Bonnie spits bars. Honestly, that alone puts it above Van Gogh.
Really does.
That part is cool. And if you disagree, then you're a big dumb person.
Yeah.
So you can take that to the bank. Van Gogh's next. I'm locking in Van Gogh.
I think that especially your point about it being like a vertical slice of the album, I think that alone is very cool. And I think the stuff that they do like have in Doomsday, like the stuff they try, is very cool. Like you've got like some of that like the double time stuff after the first chorus is very cool. Even before that, like that last little bit of every verse where like it kind of becomes very like chilled out and she sings very low. Those kind of bits are something that doesn't really happen a lot in any other song as well. It just add to the variety of this album. The fast rap stuff's really cool. I think even the clappy bits that they add in there as well, where like you got the claps in the background, add to like that like to harken towards the end of the album where Molotov feels like a really great like live experience. I can't fucking wait for that. Just be like, woo! I'm clap. As long as like no one doesn't know how to clap, it will be fine.
Friends theme song. Everyone be clapping.
Yes,
it'd be great.
That right there was the "Don't Clap to the Friends" theme challenge. That was I immediately was like, huh? Oh, nah, I won't do it. I want to save everybody the pain. But yeah, no, I think I'm in agreement though. Yeah, Van Gogh being 5.
And now we're left with just like a absolute 4-way like battle to the death of just absolute powerhouses.
I hit my mic.
Jesus Christ, I don't even know. Can I say something that's gonna peeve you?
I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm moving my thumb on my notepad over Switchblade
I knew you were gonna say that.
being next. Even though I love it like it's my own child. Just like, not to say that Brennan is right in any facet with how he feels about this song, because he's wrong and he can't defend himself because he's not here. Compared to these other 3 songs, one could say that Switchblade has the least amount of like variety, or like the least amount of like technicality of the 3. And not to say that there's none, but in comparing it to the other 3 songs, I do think like Switchblade, right? Bonnie's range, full display in this song. It is incredible. Absolutely. It is immaculate.
Absolutely.
Highlight of the song, in my opinion, is the fact that Bonnie goes from like lows that like it sounds like a fucking dude to just like belting shit, and it's so impressive. It's so cool. The chorus is catchy as fuck. Even some of the verses, like she does some of like the trill things that you were talking about earlier, like very much like it's a great song. But like when you compare it to Hair Out, which is just perfection, and when you compare it to Doomsday, which is like the perfect vertical slice of the album, and you compare it to Cabin Fever, which just fucking rips shit, I just don't know if it holds up to the other 3. If we have to choose, if this can't be a 4-way tie, which it unfortunately cannot be, I feel like Switchblade, unfortunately, is gonna take the L here. I looking at my notes and comparing it, squaring it up with these other tracks, I don't think it can win. I really just don't think it can win.
You're probably right, Tyler.
Whoa, you're not arguing with me?
No.
I'm shocked.
I'm so happy you made it this far.
If we had a tiebreaker, would you have argued with me?
Perhaps. But and let me okay, so I can kind of see where you're coming from. And I objectively can see where you're coming from. I would like to make the arguments that I prepped to combat that point.
No, go for it.
In case there were a tiebreaker, right? So I think the song, obviously the song leans into the heavier bits a little bit more than other tracks that Snarlack has done. They have very, very chuggy moments instrumentally. I think the verses and into the choruses obviously have a very, very natural flow with like the low, it kind of builds up a little bit near the end of the chorus, and it absolutely fucking beats you in the fucking head with the high vocals and the harmonies and the beautiful fucking shit in the choruses. I love that shit. I like the really trappy like slow beats to match her in the verses, and then like you feel the guitar come in a lot more near the end of the verses as her voice even comes up to like match her, and then it goes into the chorus where like you have the fucking layering of the vocals, the fucking just absolute fucking just the fucking just, and I love it. I don't know what that means, but I that's what I feel.
It's accurate though. I can't.
That's what I feel. I feel but I also think that like that little bit that plays after like each chorus, with like the kind of like the heavy chuggy like with like the voices, like the kind of like where and like there's like a lot of like
yeah
and like going on around, like there's a lot of voices happening, and then like instrumentals, it's a lot of like trap sounds, heavier bits, the vocals are all in there. Very cool blend of stuff to like when there's like stuff that's happening individually that builds up to that point, and then to have it all kind of like happen in like a really cool cacophony of things to end the chorus is very cool. I think that's a really cool natural build. Second verse, we'll say it's kind of like the first verse. There's not a lot of variation to it, but I like that the second chorus adds like a tag to the chorus immediately. I think that's a cool variation where like she just absolutely fucking just She can't help myself, and I just like, oh my
yeah, she sounds like Eddie Vedder. It's so accurate.
Yes. With arms wide open. I love that. But no, she does not sound like Eddie Vedder. In fact, she sounds so much better. Eddie, you don't even talk like that. No, but I love those tags. I think it adds so much to the chorus and like the progression of the song. It just like it keeps giving you more. Obviously, the fucking guitar solo in the bridge is tasty as fuck. Yeah. Shred white and blue, as you called it in your reaction. Yeah,
that is what I said in the reaction.
Yes, and it is so fucking. That's probably the most impressive guitar bit in the whole fucking album. If I'm being honest with you, it really fucking just. All of a sudden, it's like, here you go. I'm about to fucking flex all over you and just fucking. And I'm like, oh my god, that's so cool. And then to have like the transition kind of be like the kind of jumpy, like she like kind of has like the cut up bit. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And I think overall my vibe of this song is it's just so fucking powerful. It makes me go, ah! Like I was saying before. But it not only is powerful and has great fucking vocal range, but there is like a dabbling of variety in a song that like I feel like you can get just really lost into those the harmonies, the range and stuff. Does it do as much though as the last songs? Fortunately not. I think I could be in agreement with you.
Yeah. It's sad, but it's the truth.
Yeah. I initially, when I thought this was going to be like the three of us, I was expecting to have to do that argument way sooner.
Oh, I was expecting to have to fight to the death. Well, not really to the death, because I knew you'd have my back.
Yeah.
But I was expecting that to catch some heat from Brennan.
Yes. Sorry,
knowing that he doesn't like the song.
It didn't get to the top though, so don't worry. It didn't get to the top. And you know what? I give in. You know, fourth is good. It made top 5. I am content. Yeah, and it's very cool.
It did better. Top 5 made top 4.
It did indeed make top 4.
So where's that?
there is that. Leaves us with 3, Tyler.
It does leave us with 3.
With 3.
I'll tell you which one is not 3. Hair Out is not 3.
Okay.
I don't know what 3 is. But
so it's either Cabin Fever or Doomsday.
It's one of those two. I don't know which one, but it's not Hair Out. I feel like you want me to defend myself, but I'm not. I won't do it yet because it's not. Now is not the time to talk about this.
So you're just kind of like locking in the fact that Hair Out you think is the best song on the album.
Well, let's not jump the gun here, but it's not 3. That's all I've said. So it's not 3. It's not. Either of the other songs could be 3. Well, Hair Out's not 3.
Really build
basic math here. might imply that I think it should be 1, but I don't want to give anything away.
I will say, I will be curious to hear your Hair Out talk, but because I think the song's very good, deserving of the top 3. Would I maybe have punted it for it to be next? Maybe, but that's okay.
You'd be wrong if you did. Given our options, I'm just saying, you know, given our options being the entire rest of the album, you'd be wrong to try to lock it in anywhere.
Brennan, what do you think? All right, cool. All right, I guess we're just gonna hang on and wait on that conversation for a little bit. I have no one to throw to. This is unfortunate.
Call your mom.
Call my mom.
And I'll call my mom. Who does not watch our stuff. And then
hang on.
Don't actually call your mom.
Do you want to do this bid? You don't want to do this bid? We don't have to do this bid.
We don't need to commit that hard. We don't have time, cool, unfortunately.
Cool. I was ready to dive on the grenade. I was ready for it. I love
you, Donna. But no, we don't have time.
Probably for the best. It's fine. We'll put Hair Out later. So we have Cabin Fever, and we have
Cabin Fever and Doomsday. Doomsday we've talked about to death. Cabin Fever we've not talked about yet, but boy do we need to, because it's
good God, Cabin Fever.
Oh, it's a good one. This is like, to me, my initial thoughts with Cabin Fever. If we're like comparing this to Pink Elephant, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Silk and Satin was the track on Pink Elephant where they were just like, this is like a whole different thing. But in that case, it was like, this is good for what it is, but it doesn't feel like Stand Atlantic, and that's why I'm pretty sure we ranked it at the bottom, or like close to the bottom.
Yeah,
because of
I remember being kind of bummed because I remember Odd that you compare the two, because I remember being like, man, Silk and Satin, really cool. Should be up in like middle high, and then we were like, nah, not low. And part of me was a little worried that we were gonna come into this, and you were gonna be like, Cabin Fever, I don't know, middle.
Oh no, Cabin Fever is one of the greatest songs I've heard all year. Cabin Fever rips shit, like it's good. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like whereas Silk and Satin was kind of like it was different, and it leaned into like sort of that different genre a little bit, and like it worked, but I didn't feel like it wasn't cohesive with the rest of the album. It didn't feel like Stand Atlantic, you know. Cabin Fever is the opposite of that, right? Cabin Fever is like this entire album we've gone very hard punk. We've done like the punk blended with the trap and stuff. Cabin Fever is like there's still gonna be punk influence in it. It's still Stand Atlantic, but the trap is like the forefront. It is the core of the song, and it should not be as good as it is, but it's so good, and I cannot stop listening to it. Like, it's some ghetto shit, and I'm really into it. I'm really very much into it. The chorus rips. Hearing Bonnie do rap style shit is just really cool. She's apparently very good at it, and I'm glad that there's just this whole album to like showcase that in multiple ways. Good on you, Bonnie. I would never even think you would attempt that, but you've done it and you've succeeded massively. And like at 220, there's like basically a breakdown.
Oh yeah,
like on top of the fact that it's like trap, so it's like. It's such a unique beast of a song, and it's crazy that it exists in general, and it's even crazier that it sounds as good as it does for existing, for being this weird, like, chimera of a genre. Like, it's wild, and I love it, and it's great.
Something that I find very interesting. First of all, the big thing I'd like to point out about the song that I think is an awesome addition is the strings that show up in this track. The strings and the fucking violin work and shit is really fucking cool. Very light, and it's just like a little accent piece, but so cool. Especially in the way in the chorus where it's just like wee, 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 over the top. And then in like the second verse, it's just like kind of like ends like phrases of bits in the verse. It's so cool. But we'll say, you talked about how Doomsday was like an interesting vertical slice, you know, like coming down from the top.
Yeah.
I feel like Cabin Fever almost feels like a vertical slice from the other side, you know, like you've now experienced an album of like these cool trap things, right? And like you experience like them trying different things, and instead of it being like, oh, here at the top of the list is Doomsday, where it feels like Stand Atlantic, but they're throwing some cool things in. Now that new cool thing that they've added, like the prevalent thing, is now like overtaking, and everything else is happening like within it. So it's like almost like a reverse slice of the album. Like this is what you just experienced. I don't know. It literally just hit me as you were talking about it, but it feels like. Instead of Stand Atlantic being at the front, now it's the trap. And they're still like, both halves are there. It's just like, just coming down into the middle. And it's just fucking, it's a great album. I love this album. But, this song goes so fucking hard. Easily the most listened to track for me of all the songs on this album so far.
It's up there for me too.
I keep coming back to, I mean, other than maybe the singles, because I listened to them so much leading up to this album. But I will say, like, just the fucking, like, really, like, in a similar way to Doomsday again, it kind of has, like, so many of the things that we've been praising about different songs up until this point. You've got, like, the really fucking drastic, like, range. You know, like, right off the bat, she's singing, like, really low, similar to Switchblade, and she has, like, those big jumps up to the high vocals. It's the point where she's fucking screaming at times in the fucking the breakdown and shit. It's awesome. You've got, like, such a different, like, range for her. You've got like the verses that can start out kind of trappy, add shit in to build you up to the chorus. The chorus like knows when to give and take because like the guitar like pulls off while she's singing. Like it's super cool. And then even in like the later choruses, the guitar that's like fucking like coming in and fucking leaving, just fucking in and out all over the place, is like doing like these cool fucking riffs around on top of this already awesome riff that's like been prevalent through the entire song. It's so fucking cool, dude. And the fact there's a breakdown in the middle of it just adds so much on top of that. Like, it's,
honestly, I mean, if you want Doomsday to be next, I'll allow it. Because I think Cabin Fever is... it does enough right, and even though I think Doomsday is more like Stand Atlantic, like core sound, right? I think that Cabin Fever is just so impressive on a technical level, just on every level. Like, it is, you can't even like with a lot of these songs, right? We've talked about how like their new sound is kind of like a blend between punk and trap. I don't even know if that's like an accurate way of describing Cabin Fever. I feel like it does so much that it's kind of just its own beast, and it's just such an impressive feat that they wrote that and that it sounds so good. Do I think it's better than F.E.A.R? I don't know. We'll get to that maybe. I don't know. But like, I could say it's better than Doomsday.
I'm down for that.
Cool.
It's time to make things really fucking awkward, Tyler, because if we're locking Doomsday in 3, we've got 2 songs remaining.
We do. We have the best song on the album, and we have Cabin Fever.
Oh, fuck.
F.E.A.R is objectively the best song. It is objectively the best song.
Is it, though?
It is. Have you listened to it, Kyle?
No, it came out very recently, right? Never heard this one before. Okay, Tyler, realistically, though, right? You've obviously been very high on F.E.A.R for quite some time. We've mentioned it very sparsely in comparison to other things. However, we have not had a moment to just absolutely dive in to F.E.A.R.
That is true. The only time I've ever mentioned this song ever on the channel was I threw it out as my single of the month for March. And all I said was, yeah, F.E.A.R was good. That's it. And then we moved on. I think that I didn't even fully appreciate how great F.E.A.R was until going into like my review mindset for this album. Because I've always enjoyed it. It's always been a very good song ever since it came out, you know, listening to it on repeat because it's a really good song. And I realized going through it with my little review hat on that I'm like, I think that this song is actually like a perfect Stand Atlantic song. It literally gives you everything that you want from the band and more. And especially on this album, I was talking about how Doomsday is kind of like a perfect vertical slice. I feel like Hair Out is like, it's not just a vertical slice. It's just a whole fucking cake. Like, it is just, it is, it's not a good metaphor, but that's what I'm sticking with. It's really good. It's insanely catchy, which is a thing that we've said about other songs, and I think that this is like peak catchiness. Instrumentally, it fucking rips, and I burped there on accident, but
it worked. It really did.
My body, my insides are like just screaming, convince Kyle to let this win. We've talked about how like they add different elements, switch things up throughout songs to kind of like add variety. We've talked about this with other songs in the past. The second verse, when they switch up the beat, it goes so fucking hard. It is such a perfect deviation while keeping it in the same like vein. Like, it is literally a perfect second verse. Literally a perfect second verse. That is like a huge standout to me in that. And normally that kind of stuff like doesn't even stand out that much to me. But like for this one especially, it just works so perfectly. It's constantly utilizing a bunch of like really fun distortion and effects and stuff throughout. And it's just weaving it into this big, thick package of a song, right? And there's like, it's got the little audio clips in the background, like the band fucking around, which kind of just adds to like the overall energy and vibe of this specific album. I mean, the last track on this album is literally just that. Like, it's literally just them fucking bullshitting and laughing. And like, so this is basically just garlic bread woven into a song, if you think about it that way.
We love weaving garlic bread in places. So
exactly. Like, this song just captures the energy not only of this album perfectly, but it captures the energy of this band perfectly. It has literally every single element that you would want from a Stand Atlantic song in general. And I feel that it would be a disservice to have it as anything lower than number one. And that is my case, and I am standing by that. And granted, there's not a tiebreaker, so like we might come to an impasse here. But that is my speech, and it's done now.
All right, Tyler. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I agree with all of your thoughts and opinions about the components of the song "Hair Out" by Stan Atlantic on F.E.A.R, released in May 2022. It's
what is happening?
It's a very, very, very realistic thing. I like everything you said about it. I only have one gripe with this song, and it's the reason why I was kind of against it being number one. You know, might still be. We'll talk about it a little bit more. We'll see where we go here. But in an album where we have praised them for having very heavy trap influences in their new sound, this song does not really have very intense trap influences to me.
Not maybe very intense trap.
Maybe very light.
Tiny sprinkles in there.
It just feels a little bit like heavy punk than it does like a trap with like the very.
Is there anything wrong with that?
There isn't. But my point is that the thing that we loved about this album is the trap influence and the way they were able to weave that in on top of like
that was a thing that we liked about this album. The thing we liked about this album is that it was good, and this song is very good. So like,
I like to say Cabin Fever is also very good. It also has many things from many different songs, all brought together into one package that has just like morphed and evolved Stan Atlantic into this incredible beast. It's got so many things. And you know, oftentimes I don't want to like become like the like every time we say the song that has every bit of the album in it in one song is a song that should be the best. But like one of these songs has that, and one of them doesn't really. And it's not that Hair Out does any of the things that it does wrong. You know, like it doesn't do any of that wrong. But I just feel like it's kind of like it's very good Stan Atlantic. Everything it does with the change ups, with the fucking like drive to the end, it's very cool. I agree with everything you have to say. The lack of that thing that has been like the defining thing of F.E.A.R overall in my mind, and on so many songs that we've talked about, Trunk, I'm left a little treeless in this track.
Shut the fuck up. See, when I was thinking Trunk, I was thinking like Elephant Trunk is like a callback to like Pink Elephant.
Oh my god!
With, like the words blending together. Yeah.
Wow,
that just proves
never
that I'm
connected
smarter
that.
than you, and my take should win.
You know what? You said that. You know, you said that just now, and it has changed me spiritually.
No, it has not.
No, it has not. But I would like to continue past my terrible usage of trunk and trees and whatnot. Now, however, I will concede a tad, put it out there, that if we are left with two songs that I feel like one really lets that the trap bit kind of take the forefront of the vibe in Cabin Fever, and a song, Hair Out, where it lets that like that the Stan Atlantic core come to the forefront, you know?
Yes.
And in that comparison, objectively, on a Stan Atlantic album, I could see a world where perhaps I put aside all of my love and all of my whiplash I have gained from banging to Cabin Fever behind me, make none of it worth it. I could see a world where Hair Out, objectively,
yes,
could edge out.
I see that world too, because it's the world we're living in. And like you said, Cabin Fever might, and that's a big might. That's like a big like uppercase like impact font might. 100-point font. And I was about to say, put that on screen. I'm not going to do that.
I was wondering if you're going to say that. That's why I was starting to chuckle. So I was like, I wonder if people see this happening.
No.
Just the evolution of the word might.
Absolutely not. I don't have the time. It might. I don't even remember what I was saying.
I got lost in the might.
I got lost in the might.
Font.
No.
Don't we all?
But here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing.
Okay.
So
Push me a little bit more on this.
Cabin Fever might encapsulate the album better. And again, that's like, if you think that that's questionable. Hair Out.
How is it questionable?
Hair Out definitely is a better representation of the band as a whole. I think it is a better display of how we've talked about, how we've seen this band grow from where they started, Coffee at Midnight, up through their first album, their second album. Now they're here with their third album, and Hair Out, I think, encapsulates the band as its current state, and it's everything you want. It is a Stand Atlantic song at its core. It is the band at its core in music form, right? Like, if you were to show people Stand Atlantic for the first time, would you immediately default to Cabin Fever? No, because that would not be an accurate representation of the band as a whole. It's a good song, but that would be like the equivalent of showing Calentamiento Global as the first song of
That's
like
a bit of
to
a
dance,
stretch
Gavin,
of, that,
dance.
of a comparison.
It might not be.
Yeah,
or like Eagle vs. Crow. Or it's like, oh wow, rap. This is a cool thing. Oh, they only do this here. And it's like, I don't know. I think that Hair Out is just a better representation of the band in its current state, the band's journey, how they got here, and it is on their best album, so it still represents their best album. Even if it doesn't have as much trap as one would like, even if you can't, shake that ass like I don't have any metaphors for shaking ass, but you can't, I don't know. I really lost it there at the end, but I think my points up until that last bit were very solid and deserve to win.
Counterpoint. To just really leave us here for a very long time. Counterpoint. Because, really, I feel like we've done a good job, getting to this point without, massive arguments, Yeah. So why not just lay it on thick here? Because, if I'm being honest with you, I actually kind of disagree with the point you just made, in that Hair Out is, the core of, where the band is at now and how they got here. We were talking before about how we love this, this journey that they've been on, where you see, how I was talking about how, Bonnie's vocal journey, from way back when to now. And something else we talked about journey-wise is them finding their new sound, this trap punk, the chunk shit that we keep bringing up.
Hair Out is trunk. Hair Out is trunk.
Now wait. Might. So the fucking Cabin Fever has all of that, the trap influence just all fucking fused in to that core Stand Atlantic that we know and love. That is the point that we've gotten to. We have come through the genre bending. They found this trap feel, and then they have just infused it into a song, into their core, right in their core, Tyler. And it has created Cabin Fever. Hair Out is a nice part of the journey on the way that is incredibly well done in their core. And then they were just take a syringe and just right into my core and shove that trap in.
Might. Call Nico.
Oh.
We can't call Brennan because he is not available.
Yes.
Call Nico.
I think this is how we're going to have to do
Don't
this.
allow him to explain his point.
No.
Don't even give him context. Just say, I don't even know if he's listened to this album, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't know if he's listened to the whole thing. Don't think he has.
This is the perfect
Literally just ask him, Hair Out or Cabin Fever. Don't give him any other information. If he asks anything, just repeat the question.
Can you hear it ringing? Wait. Can you hear
yes, it? Now I can.
What's going on, man?
Hey, Nico, how you doing?
Why are you laughing?
No reason. So I have a question for you, and it's a simple question, and I need you not to just really fucking ask questions. Just really, fair. You don't really have to give us a lot of.
Ask him the question, Kyle.
Okay.
Okay. Here's the question: Hair Out or Cabin Fever.
What was the first option?
Hair Out or Cabin Fever. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of questions, and I understand I'm not to ask them.
No.
And I don't know why, but Hair Out is giving me bad vibes. Cabin Fever.
Nico,
tell Nico we're not friends anymore. Tell Nico to go fuck himself. Tell Nico he's a garbage human being with beautiful hair and beard.
Tyler thinks you're a garbage human being and has other comments to say about your hair that we'll talk about later. Love you, buddy.
They're positive. Don't make him think that I insulted his hair. His hair is luxurious. He's wrong, but fine. I said that would decide it, so whatever.
Yes!
This is the wildest technicality.
I can't believe this is how this happened.
I can't either. It feels
this is so odd.
Like just so wrong and gross.
What do you mean Cabin Fever's a phenomenal song? It's so good. What are you talking about?
You won by cheating, and
you were the one who came up with the rule.
I don't care. It still doesn't feel good to win that way, does it?
It wouldn't have felt good for me if it went the other way. But that's okay. Because at the day, did any of this feel good?
You have a point there. I would like to think if Brennan was on this installment, he would have sided with me. But unfortunately, we honestly, with Stand Atlantic, I don't know either.
Yeah, you never know. And I will stand by my point because I did give you like, I gave you the props of like saying like it's a very Stand Atlantic song. At their core, that's what they are. But Cabin Fever wins, and the reason why I think it should win, objectively, in a simple statement, is I think it is a perfect way to show where the band is at now. They have taken their core, that core that they kind of like were kind of jumping around in Pink Elephant, trying to find where they needed to be. They found it and have just absolutely infused that trap into their core, their being, and all of their might. And now they are here. And it's Cabin Fever, baby.
I disagree with that statement on so many levels, but I can't argue anymore because I've lost.
We did it.
Roast us in the comments below. Tell us why we're both wrong. Bring it on. I want to hear it. We're going to do the recap. We're going to get on out of here. But hey, at least we made it through that more peacefully than the last time we did a Stand Atlantic album review. So.
It really did. I mean,
at least we have that.
It kind of got a little frisky there at the end, but hey, that was a fun little way to end it out,
Yeah.
I have a weird feeling, just as like a overarching feeling about this ranking, that people are gonna have like a very different opinion than ours.
100%. Yes, I feel that coming also.
Because
I also feel there will be a lot of outcries for Brennan to voice his opinions. So Brennan, please
make a list, baby.
Make a list in the comments, because we would also obviously like to know where you stand on this. Yeah. Anyway, we have to break down just the two of our rankings, and here it is. We're done. We're finished. Here we go. Number 14. I wonder what kind of garlic bread they eat in Mensa. Number 13. EXO. Number 12. Don't Talk to Me. Which is what I'm going to be saying to Kyle for the rest of time. And Nico. Yes. Yeah. Mostly Nico.
Yeah, it's his fault.
It is technically his fault. What number are we on?
I don't fucking know anymore. I don't know.
14, 13, 12, 11?
Sure.
11 is dumb. 10 is Molotov. 9 is Blood Clot. 8 is Nails from the Back. 7 is Death Wish. 6 is Pity Party. 5 is Van Gogh. 4 is Switchblade. 3 is Doomsday. 2 is Hair Out. And 1 is Cabin Fever.
I'd like everyone that's like, oh man, Tyler doesn't really seem very into this decision. He seems very like, oh, he didn't like Cabin Fever.
I do like Cabin Fever.
Yeah, back the video up to the point where like he was gushing about Cabin Fever. I remember that.
Cabin Fever's a good song. I just don't think it should be number 1.
I do.
Cabin Fever's a very good song. I just don't. I have some thoughts. I don't
in response, I think Hair Out's a very good song. And I also don't think it should be number 1. And it's not. And that's the right answer.
Brendan probably thinks that EXO should be number 1, and that was probably the right answer.
I don't know. Do you think actually, do you actually think EXO would be that high for him?
I don't know. Absolutely not. That was
I actually think he would have liked Cabin Fever.
Joke. Anyway, before we go on more tangents and more hate speech at each other, I would just like to say thank you for watching this video, especially if you've watched to this point without clicking out. I'm sure this was kind of a long one, especially with Brendan not being here to rope us in. But yeah, we really do appreciate each and every one of you for giving this video a little look-see with your peepers and your eepers. And if you like this video, make sure to go down and physically give it a like by hitting that little thumbs up, because that really does help out a ton. As a little old tiny old channel, every like is very meaningful to us. Also, make sure to comment below what your personal ranking of F.E.A.R by Stan Atlantic is, because as always, we love hearing everyone's opinions. They are always wildly different from ours, and that's part of the fun. So definitely let us know in the comments below what your ranking was. Also, if you are new here, if you are not subscribed to the Talks a Lot Boys, please go down there and... Yeah, Kyle's upset. Kyle's very upset at you. Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it. What are you waiting for?
It's right there.
It's right there.
It's literally right there.
It's so easy.
It's so bright and red and just like...
You click it, you go over, you click the bell, and it's done. You've made me happy. Your life hasn't changed at all, other than the fact that you will now be notified when we upload new videos, such as our album ranking review of State Champs' new album, Kings of the New Age, coming out next week. I mean, the album comes out this week, but like our review will come out
the subsequent week. Yes,
next week. Yeah,
yes.
But I digress. Yeah, it's been a fun one. Thank you for joining me on this journey, Kyle. Very sad that Brennan could not be here, but life goes on. He will hopefully be on the next installment, and we will be the Talks a Lot Boys. Well, I guess we're still the Talks a Lot Boys.
There's still more than one of us.
So there'll be a bigger S on the end of that boys when he is here. We'll be a full boys when he returns.
A trio of talking boys.
Yes.
Woo.
Sorry, I really need to land this fucking plane. I am just circling at this point. We have been the Talks a Lot Boys. We will talk a whole lot more next time. Thank you so much. We will see you later.